No, there's a term, orthosomnia, which is the pursuit of perfect sleep.
Oh, that's good.
Not yet diagnosed as a sleep disorder, but it's it's a thing.
So you become so obsessed with getting great sleep that it actually gets in the way of you getting great sleep.
Yeah.
I'm in Henley-on-Thames today, which is a really posh part of Berkshire, just to the west of London, and I'm here to find out about a legal, life-enhancing, performance-enhancing drug. It's called sleep. And if you get enough sleep, it can affect your mood, your performance, your energy levels, your concentration. It can even have an effect on how much weight you put on or take off, and it can help you live longer. And here's the bonkers part. There are millions of us walking around every day, not getting enough of the stuff, and we think that's fine. Well, it's not fine. So I'm going to get a crash course on sleep today from someone who knows a bit about it. She's the person who's helped the British rowing team get their right amount of sleep, which is why we're in Henley-on-Thames for the Henley Regatta. And her name is Dr Sarah Gilchrist. She's an expert in sleep and athletic performance. So I've got a bunch of questions for her, and at the end, I'm going to find out how you and I can get the best sleep ever tonight. I'm going to help us sleep like a brick.
Tell me about your fascination with sleep, because it's a very unusual thing to be interested in.
It is and it isn't. I worked in elite sport, and working with the British rowing team leading into the Home Olympics in 2012, we wanted to know more about their recovery. Obviously, home games was a challenge, their recovery. They were pulled in lots of different directions because of media demands, etc. And we didn't know enough about their sleep, and there wasn't much out there about athletic sleep. There is now, lots of research has been done since. And so I was lucky in the sense that I was in a position where I could collect the data. I was a scientist, I wanted to know more about the data, and the questions needed answering.
Hence us being really lucky to be able to film right in the centre of the Henley Regatta right now.
Yeah.
So where do we go wrong then? Where do we all go wrong with sleep? We all know it's important and we should get our 7-8 hours, but many of us rarely do. Why is that? What's gone wrong?
I think there's two aspects. You say we all know it's important. I don't think people necessarily do know it's important. They don't necessarily pay attention to it on the whole. And probably the industrialisation, so brighter lights, the internet, obviously, we are never really globally off. Like, there's always 24/7 shopping, 24/7 TV. You know, the way that our society is these days, there isn't that natural time at night time to switch off. We are always on.
And we talk about this thing, which is kind of a primitive instinct in us, our circadian rhythm and how we work to light and dark. And I suppose if you artificially change the environment, it's going to mess up your sleep pattern.
Certainly, light is the sleep robber, if you like. Bright light certainly has an impact on sleep. And we need light and dark so our body knows where we are in terms of circadian rhythms, and it influences our sleep. There's a hormone drive to it to signal when to sleep when it's dark, and to signal when to wake when it's light. So yeah, we are driven by light-dark cycles from an internal evolutionary point of view.
So it's kind of really no wonder we find this tough, because we're putting a lot of pressures on ourselves. Let's put exercise to one side for a second and just talk about the normal Joe who has maybe a 9-to-5 job and a couple of kids at home, and all the stresses that brings. I know there are lots of different little bits and pieces we can look into, like I'm guessing your age has an impact on your sleep. I'm guessing your gender has an impact on your sleep. I know you've written a book which is primarily about women's sleep. I'm guessing I could read this and take something from it, but obviously women have very different bodies to men, so therefore their sleep cycles are different.
Yeah, certainly from puberty there is a difference in gender sleep. Obviously the women's hormones kick in through puberty, the ovarian hormones, estrogen and progesterone, and so the hormone transitions play a part in influencing women's sleep right throughout life. Women have a different interaction with pain as well, linked to the hormonal cycles, maybe shift work. Fastest growing industry in the UK is health and social care, of which women make up the brunt of that workforce.
Yeah.
And then also sandwich generation, caring for younger children and elderly parents, not necessarily.
The sandwich generation, that's a great phrase. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, where children, if you're having children later in life, you tend to then have more elderly parents.
Yes, of
also
course.
Younger children.
And you're the bit in the middle.
You're the bit in the middle. Who may also be going through perimenopause, menopause.
Of course.
May also have a leadership role in a management position in healthcare, for example. maybe working shift work.
What's physically going on when we are about an hour away from going to sleep and when we're asleep? And I know there's different cycles to sleep, isn't there?
Yeah, so before we sleep, the lights are dim, hopefully that the body is recognizing that it's time to get to sleep. There's not so much this time of year when it's really bright in the evenings, but the dim light, there are photosensitive receptors in our eyes that send a message deep into the brain to signal the hormone melatonin to start increasing. Now, this isn't a sleep switch. It doesn't turn sleep on or off. It just signals to the body that it's time to start the processes to fall asleep. Then when our heads hit the pillow, the lights are out, we're in a relaxed, calm state, hopefully to fall asleep, we enter into this 90-minute sleep cycle. And that's where you have your 4 sleep stages. The first 2 sleep stages are lighter sleep stages, so 20, 30 minutes of that 90-minute sleep cycle. So that's when we say if you're going to nap for 20 to 30 minutes. You wake up.
We need to put a pin in that. I was going to ask you about napping later on, so that's a good reminder.
Okay. And then you enter into deep sleep, stage 3 sleep. And this is more where protein synthesis, growth hormone is released. A lot of the cognitive information from the day is essentially filed away. It's a very simplistic way of saying it. So a lot of the rejuvenation and recovery from the demands of being awake take place in stage 3 sleep. It's a really deep stage of sleep. You don't really want to wake up in that stage because the sleep inertia to overcome is really quite great. And then you enter into your stage 4 sleep, which is often called dream sleep. We tend to sleep more in that stage of sleep. And that stage of sleep is very much linked to our emotional control. So our regulation of positive consolidation of emotion. So feeling good, like how we, have rigor to our day the next day and thrive in life. So you need all aspects of sleep, which is why we say have a regular routine with your sleep cycle. It helps the body know where it is in light and day and night and dark, but it also helps us maximize getting the most of those sleep cycles throughout the night, so you're not shortchanging yourself too little or too less in the latter part of the night.
And I'm guessing that changes as you age, right? I remember my mum, she's gone now, bless her, but when she was alive, she would get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, bright as a button. I was like, Mum, what are you doing? Well, it's just that's when I wake up. So does it change as you get older?
Sleep changes as we age, certainly. There are, like I say, age-related factors that affect our sleep. We don't necessarily need less sleep as we age. It's just our ability to get that sleep is compromised. So we are less sensitive to the light changes. We might be less mobile. We might nap more in the day. We might nap too late in the day.
Okay.
If we're in a home, we might not be getting outside, getting that access to daylight. So there's lots of factors as we age that can contribute to our nighttime sleep.
And I guess if you're not moving around as much during the day, you're going to be less needful of the 8-9 hour sleep or something.
Yeah. Certainly as we age, it's more challenging to get that recommended amount of sleep.
Yes, we mentioned about napping earlier on. Tried it, can't do it. I know it's not for everyone, but I mean, is that a recommended thing? Can you actually sort of bank a bit of sleep during the day and need less during the night?
If you're the person that has the circumstances, the motivation and the opportunity to nap, great, go for it. Between 2 and 4 in the afternoon is the ideal time. Your core temperature has a circadian rhythm. It dips in the afternoon, same as it does in the evening, which is a precursor to sleep. So that's why we get that nodding donkey syndrome after lunch.
Yep.
But if you're a person that doesn't enjoy a nap, don't force it. Don't have some downtime if you can.
Yeah.
Equally beneficial, but no, don't force a nap.
Let's talk about timings for a little bit, because I know there are a lot of myths about this. So food first off. Now I'm a intermittent faster. Some people say that's good, some people say that's bad, but I know most people, especially those who've got a busy lifestyle, wake up, eat, and then eat before they go to sleep. And now surely that can't be good because your body's trying to digest all that food while you're asleep, right?
I mean, it's very individualised. Sleep is so individualised, and the way that you digest food is individualised to a certain extent. But eating a large, heavy meal immediately before sleep is not going to be great. And you need you need your gut to be in a rested state. So yes, but we talked about circadian rhythms. Our biggest driver in our body is the relationship with the light-dark cycle. The second one is our appetite.
Yeah.
So that's why with jet lag, we always say to get back onto your normal time zone, use the sunlight, use the daylight where you are and go to bed at the appropriate times, but also use the meal times because it helps entrain your body to know where it is in that 24-hour rhythm.
I mean, obviously, where we are today at the Henley Regatta, these guys and girls are athletes. So what their sleep patterns are like might be slightly different to someone who maybe goes out and does a 10K on the weekend. Is there a specific time of the day that's good for training? I used to work in a gym and used to see people going in and training like 11 o'clock in the evening before and then going straight to bed.
Yeah.
For me, that I couldn't do that. For me, it's got to be first thing in the morning. But I'm guessing, is it different for different people, or is there a general rule of thumb?
It used to be, like you say, people thought if you exercise in the evening, that's going to impact on your sleep. And yeah, I don't really know anyone that would necessarily go for a run, come in the door, take their trainers off and get straight into bed.
Yeah, of course.
You need to recover. But no, generally speaking, it's individualised. The timing, the intensity, the duration, the frequency of exercise, it doesn't make too much difference. There's some slight influences on sleep architecture, relation to cardiovascular versus resistance training, but not so much that you would massively change a training program. The general rule is, as long as you are moving regularly throughout the week for 30 minutes on average, your sleep will benefit. You will get to sleep quicker, you'll sleep for longer, and you'll sleep more deeply.
And I guess it works the other way around, because if your sleep's good, then you're going to be able to exercise and train better too.
That's the thing. If you're sleeping poorly, you're less motivated to engage in any kind of movement. So yes, definitely. That said, I do know where people have had a regular training regime for years, maybe getting up at 5:30 before work and training, and then they have a family, and obviously then you've got compromised sleep, but they still keep that training regime. That's when it can come back and bite you in the bum a bit, because you're more sleep compromised. So injury, illness start to creep in. So I always say, like, if you're exercising with sleep, if you've got a routine and it's working, great. But if things aren't quite working, or you have that night where the training session is later, then that's the night where you might sacrifice the quantity of sleep for the quality, because you need to be in a cool, calm, relaxed state to sleep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel if I go out for an evening, a lot of my work takes me out in the evening, and I get home late at night, the last thing I want to do is go straight to bed, because I'm still wired, I need to sort of...
You need to decompress.
Decompress.
Exactly. Yeah.
And on that topic, this is one that I've always found really fascinating. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have like an hour before bedtime where my parents would kind of get you ready for sleep, and no more telly, let's go to bed and read a book, or so you would like literally just sort of deactivate over about a period of an hour.
Yeah.
But then as adults, generally we don't do that.
Exactly.
So surely we should be fading into sleep at the same time.
Yeah. But as like you said earlier, our lives are busy, and we don't necessarily prioritise sleep, and we don't consider the fact that 45 minutes before sleep should be, like, as you say, you graduate into it. So when your head hits the pillow, you're in that cool, calm, relaxed state to be asleep. And that's the thing, I mean, with screens, it's going beyond your screen time or beyond your sleep time that is the problem. Children can't regulate that. They're not emotionally mature. Adults supposedly can.
You'd think.
The doom scrolling, Netflix, I'll just watch one more episode. It's not the blue light from the screen is kind of a big sleep myth. It's not significant enough of a light to impact onto melatonin.
That's interesting.
So kind of like in the last couple of years, it's been shown that that's not significant. The problem is going beyond your sleep time and not having the self-control to turn off the device.
When we're filming this at the moment, we're in what Britons call a heat wave. I mean, if you're in somewhere like Saudi Arabia, this is not a heat wave. But as a result, we're all having broken sleep. I don't know about you, but where I live, we had thunderstorms overnight, which wakes us up because the windows are open. At the moment, I'm having like 2 or 3 days where my sleep is perhaps more broken than it would normally be.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the longer you have broken sleep, the longer it takes to reset, right?
Yeah, and again, sleep is individualised. So, for one person, it could take a few days, or for another person, it might just be a couple of days and they're fine. But yeah, generally speaking, you want to get back onto a normal sleep schedule as quickly as possible. Where it's been hot like this and you have broken sleep, if like the circumstances, the motivation, the opportunity to nap, that might be some time where you might want to incorporate some naps into the day. But yes, just trying to, get the bedroom environment when it is really hot like this into a place where you can fall asleep in the first place. So cooling strategies during the day, keeping the windows shut, a fan when it's cooler in the evening, a fan in the window to blow the fresh air in. If you have aircon, great, switch it on. And then obviously things that to cool yourself down before bed as well. So, keeping, not necessarily going for a run in the evening when it's cooler. 'Cause it's still quite warm.
That's not going to happen.
Not a good idea. And just generally, keeping that bedroom environment in the optimal state so that, sleep is welcome.
They're going to go back to the sport and sleep thing, and just looking over my shoulder at these guys getting themselves ready for racing this afternoon. These guys are leading up to a big event at the moment, so therefore they'll be doing an element of training, they'll be doing an element of active rest before they actually hit the water for the big event. How do you set a sleep cycle around that? Does it change?
No, essentially they're human beings, so they need sleep in the same way you or I would need sleep. But obviously what you want to do is, with athletes, we know there is a trio of challenges to their sleep, with its competition, travel or training. And so you want to make sure that sleep is maximised around any one or all three of those events, depending on what's going on in their schedule. And obviously opportunities for naps around the training are beneficial if they enjoy the nap. This particular sport, rowing, does lend itself to napping quite well. Like when I worked with the squad, there was a lot of napping around training sessions because the demands in the sport is so great. It's a natural recovery strategy. It's the ultimate performance enhancer, if you like, because it's free and it's readily available. And as humans, we tend to fall asleep quite easily, and it's beneficial to us. So yes, you wouldn't make any specific changes. The only thing that we would do is ensure that they are maximising on their opportunity to get good sleep.
Let's talk about a few ways that we can help ourselves to get better sleep. I'm not a fan of them, but let's talk sleep trackers.
Yeah.
And you're laughing, so perhaps you might not be a fan of them either. It almost seems a little bit counterintuitive to me that you can become if you're not too careful, you become a bit obsessed with how much sleep you're getting, which is kind of not really the point, is it?
No, there's a term, orthosomnia, which is the pursuit of perfect sleep.
Oh, that's good.
Not yet diagnosed as a sleep disorder, but it's a thing.
So you become so obsessed with getting great sleep that it actually gets in the way of you getting great sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my Apple Watch on now, but I don't wear it at night. The gold standard measure of sleep is polysomnography. So in a sleep lab, hooked up to all the electrodes.
Oh yeah, sure.
And that'll tell you the true picture of your sleep architecture. So non-REM sleep, REM sleep, the picture of your 90-minute sleep cycle. Sleep trackers, they use an indirect measure to assume the state of sleep.
There's ones you can just you don't even have to wear.
No, there's wearables, nearables, which go under the pillow, or unbearables, as I like to describe, because they go on your head or something, and people just want to rip them off, and it just affect them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's individualised. Some people can wear them and it doesn't bother them, but so it's an indirect measure, usually heart rate, breathing rate, or some indirect measure, a physiological indirect measure, to assume the state of sleep. So I always say they're useful to monitor a change. So if you're not getting enough sleep and you want to improve your sleep by an extra hour a night, and maybe you want to do it in 10-minute increments, because it's behaviour change, right? Suddenly get an extra hour of sleep for some people is really hard. So you may be doing it in baby steps. If you want to use the watch to verify that, fine, monitor the change. But no, looking at the data night to night, like I said earlier, the single best measure of if you had a good night's sleep is subjectively. You wake up and feel alert and refreshed and fully productive during the working day.
Yeah, so put your apps away, you don't need them. No. If you wake up and you feel fine, then there's a chance you've had a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Most
people's bedrooms are perhaps a little bit chaotic. And maybe there's stuff in the bedroom that perhaps doesn't belong in the bedroom. We spoke about this earlier on, about having a calm environment to help you get sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing if your bedroom looks like someone's just raided you, that's not going to help you get good sleep.
No, you could be lying there stressing about all the things that you need to clear up around you if there's clutter. Some people, probably doesn't affect them. Like I say, sleep is so individualised. But generally, your sleep system, your bed, your pillow, your mattress, breathable pillows, not too many pillows stacked up. You want good head, neck, back, musculoskeletal alignment. Not too heavy a tog duvet, so you don't want the thickest duvet, particularly at the minute.
Is there an ideal temperature?
18 to 20 degrees in the bedroom, ideally. So that's why we say having a window open for most of the year is ideal. And yeah, breathable, like your sleep system, what you sleep in or you don't sleep in, personal preference, doesn't matter.
Does it make a difference?
Doesn't matter. It's just, personal preference.
Because that's another myth, isn't it? A lot of people will say, "Oh, you've got to sleep naked. That's much better for your body."
Doesn't matter.
And what about if you're at a stage where you kind of think your sleep's starting to get a bit broken, or you're starting to find it hard to get to sleep? Are there warning signs that maybe you should look out for to think, right, let's nip this in the bud and deal with this before it gets any worse?
Yeah, I think generally like mood would be certainly a red flag. So people who are sleep deprived tend to be more moody, perhaps a bit more aggressive in their manner and in terms of the way they speak to people, a bit more impatient. And again, like you might have like the excessive daytime sleepiness, and just general lethargy. Your appetite might change.
Yeah.
You tend to crave. You're not going to necessarily want a superfood salad. If you're sleep deprived, you might be craving more of the carbohydrate heavy foods. So yeah, there's lots of red flags in day-to-day life that would suggest breaking sleep.
Okay, I have one more question, but I thought it'd be quite nice to do a bit of a quick fire round. So see how many we can get just sort of short answers.
Yeah.
So I'm a coffee lover. Coffee, when should we stop drinking it?
Ideally from lunchtime onwards, but it's individualised.
Like everything, I think that's the key take home, isn't it? We kind of covered this a little bit. So sleeping with the TV on?
Individualised, depends what you're watching. Generally okay.
Good answer. Okay, rate these from good to bad.
Okay.
No alarm, set an alarm, hitting snooze.
Hitting snooze is bad.
Let's pause. Why?
Because you've woken up and your body is into the processes of waking up. And then if you fall back to sleep again, this is at a normal wake time, if you fall back to sleep again, you're then going to go into a disrupted stage of sleep, and you're not going to go into a full sleep cycle because then you need to get up, and it's just, you've had your nighttime bout of sleep, it's time to wake up. Your body has started those processes to signal itself to wake up, and then you're trying to reverse that with daylight and...
Sure. So if the alarm goes off, get up.
If it's the time to get up and you're in that normal routine, then certainly, yeah.
And obviously, a no alarm would be, waking up when your body's ready, I guess, would be the ultimate,
if you're getting enough
right?
sleep and you wake up and you don't have alarm, you will tend to wake up at the same time every day.
Okay, room temperature we've done. Pyjamas or naked we've done. All right, what about weekend lie-ins? Are they a good idea, or we talked a lot about having sleep habits, so I'm guessing if you're like staying in bed till lunchtime on a Sunday, that's perhaps not so good, right?
No, it's called social jet lag. So it's a technical term in the sleep word. So it's basically you're not getting enough sleep in the week, so people try and catch up at the weekend. So you're shifting your own circadian rhythm. So it's not great. No. You want a sleep routine as regularly as you can.
Magnesium supplements.
Expensive.
Are we wasting our money there?
There's no randomised controlled trials on magnesium supplementation. So anecdotally, people report that they help.
Right.
But there are other practical strategies that are free that may be as beneficial. So personal preference, if you're going to take magnesium and you're on medication, please seek advice from your GP before you do so.
Oh, good answer. You heard that. Most overrated sleep tip?
Probably the mouth taping.
Mouth taping?
Yeah. There was a TikTok craze. Somebody on TikTok said they taped their mouth and they had 1 million followers, and then all of a sudden people were taping their mouths to sleep better.
Oh, okay. Was that to promote nose breathing or something?
Yeah. But it can be unsafe if, it can be frightening, and it's not recommended generally.
Yeah, I would not be doing that. All right, most underrated sleep tip?
Just give yourself the opportunity to get sleep.
I mean, that's pretty basic, isn't it? Yeah. Let's talk about this and how people can get it. I think we're going to be selling it on the Barefoot Junkie website, but how people can get it, what they will learn from it, and do men get anything out of this?
So yeah, everyone gets something out of it. It's advice about sleep, so everyone will benefit from it. You can get it from all good booksellers, Amazon, Waterstones, Jessica Kingsley are the publishers. And what was the third question, sorry?
I don't know now. Maybe we need some sleep.
I can't remember what the third question was.
Would I be able to read this and get something from it?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's full of practical tips. So it describes aspects of sleep, and then there's in every section there's practical tips.
If nothing else, it will help me understand how badly my wife sleeps.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
And what about if people want to get in touch with you? Do you do like one-to-ones, or I know you said you do like webinars and stuff? And
Yeah, lots of webinars on all aspects of sleep. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Sarah Gilchrist, or Gilchrist Performance on Instagram.
So if someone's watching this and thinking, all right, perhaps I need some help with my sleep, give me 3 things that people can actually do today, as long as it's not too late in the day, to help them get a better night's sleep tonight.
It's been protecting your sleep, personalising that sleep window, but being pragmatic with it. Life gets in the way. You will not always have the ideal sleep opportunity, but if you can do that as much as possible rather than being ignorant to that fact, you'll be in a much better place.
The take home for me, the thing that I've really learned about this, it's not the same for everyone.
No, it's completely individualised.
And not to be too stressed about the fact that some weeks you're not going to have great sleep.
No, like this week, you just have to go, well, I'll get what I get.
And it is part of the problem, isn't it? Because people get so stressed about it.
Yeah, it's a massive psychological aspect to sleep. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I tend to, people say, well, how can I relax? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you what relaxes you, but it's finding that one thing. But also not doing lots of different things at once, because then you don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, isn't it? If you're going to change one thing at a time, and see if that makes a difference. If it doesn't, then move on to the next thing. Yeah, you do that. They do that with the exclusion diet and things like that as well. So yeah, it's a great tip.
But also, and don't spend loads of money on lots of different things. But
apart from your book, obviously.
Buy that.